And one of the big key persons at MASNsports.com with the School of Roch is Roch Kubatko. We're checking him out now in the nation's capital. Roch, give us a little bit of an update, the latest news on Chris Tillman, please.
Yeah, I've got a slight update here. He is scheduled to throw on flat ground. Buck said either Monday or Tuesday, and most likely it would be on Tuesday. And that may be the most anticipated game of catch that we've seen in a while. This will be the first time he tests that right shoulder since going on the DL with bursitis in the shoulder. And Chris didn't even know it was called bursitis when I asked him about it. He goes, "Oh, is that what they're saying? Who said that?" I'm like, that was the press release. So I guess it's this inflammation in the shoulder. So he'll test it out. Buck said there was a chance Monday, but most likely Tuesday. And Buck said he has a pretty good idea of when Chris will be ready to pitch again for the Orioles, but he's not telling us. I'm sure that's because he's eligible to come off the DL on the 5th. But if Buck tells us a date that they're targeting and it doesn't happen, then suddenly it looks like there was a setback. So Buck, in their heads, they have the date. We're not going to know. I did ask Chris when he walked by the clubhouse earlier how he was feeling. He shrugged and said fine, and he goes, "But I'm not doing anything." So it's probably like me on the couch with the remote control and somebody saying, "Hey, Roch, how's your shoulder feel?" "Fine, but I'm not doing anything." So that's kind of where we are right now with Chris. He's probably going to play catch on Tuesday.
I do that real well, Roch. There's no doubt about that. Let's talk a little bit about a roster move for the Orioles again today.
Logan Andrusek is back with the Orioles, and it's that revolving door in the bullpen. I think Buck enjoys having all these optionable pieces now with relievers where you can just keep swapping them out every day. Past years here, he hasn't had that luxury to do that, and they really need it. And Buck gave the usual answer when we asked why Andrusek. He said, well, if not him, who else? And because how many options do they have? And Andrusek was available. He hadn't pitched in a couple days. He's on the 40-man. They consider T.J. McFarland. He's still on his injury rehab assignment, but they're keeping him with Bowie. He's supposed to pitch an inning tonight. They'd like him to go back-to-back, but if they need him after tonight, they'll probably bring him up. Andrusek may be here for one day. Parker Bridwell didn't make it very long. If Andrusek has to go multiple innings tonight, throw a lot of pitches, they'll just swap him out. But he was at Bowie, and he feels like he was able to regain a feel for a splitter. That was a problem. He came here with a reputation of being really good against lefties, and yet they were 4 for 8 with a couple walks and a home run off him with the Orioles. He went down there. Granted, it's the Eastern League. They retired all 5 lefties, 3 strikeouts, and he also kind of needed to catch his breath. He was pitching in Japan. All of a sudden, he's working out at Bowie. He's with the Orioles in the majors. He's pressing to make an impression. They want him to kind of go down there, relax a little bit, work on that splitter, bring him back up. But how long he's here? Could be one game, could be through the rest of the season. We just don't know.
Roch, how about your thoughts on Zach Britton possibly being a Cy Young candidate or a Cy Young Award winner?
Yeah, it's the raging debate. Should he even be considered, let alone should he win the award? I think it's silly to say he shouldn't even be considered. Now, I know there are people that feel like, hey, the relievers have their own award. But look, forget the fact just he's got the low ERA and he's 38 for 38 in saves. This guy he's having a historic season. That was 43 straight appearances without allowing an earned run until last night, of course. And that hadn't been done before. So it's not just he's having a really good year, but it is so good that his ERA actually jumped from 0.53 to 0.69 because he gave up 1 whole run in 2/3 of an inning. He's just been outstanding. So yes, he should at least be considered. I understand the argument. He's not going to throw as many innings as a starter. It's not even close. But he's been that valuable. And I will mention, too, that I do have a vote for the American League Cy Young. So I believe that relievers should at least be considered. I mean, if all things are equal between him and a dominant starter, probably lean towards a starter. But I'll certainly have him in the conversation for sure. Whether he has a legitimate chance, first of all, let's see how he finishes up. And also, I think it's going to depend on the other voters. If you have a bunch of voters who don't believe the reliever should win it, he's not going to win it. But I certainly think he should be in the conversation.
Well, Roch, we always appreciate your comments. Look forward to reading you there on MASNsports.com, School of Roch. Roch Kubatko there at Nats Park.